All right, so welcome everybody. My name is Martin Bohác. I'm the CEO and programmer from Allodium, our Prague-based studio, in which we make online games. Actually, we made two, so we can use plural. So you can follow me on Twitter if you want. I don't tweet much, so I won't spam your inbox and so on. So I hope this works. Yeah, great. So my talk, I will talk about our game, and it will be split into three parts. In the first part, in which we are now, is the introduction. I will tell you a little about our game. In the second part, I will get to the main game design faults that we did in the previous version of our game and how we made them better now. And in the third part, I will show you how it looks. So, when we started out, we wanted to make a game that will be different, and we like online games. We like Travian and these different brands and clones of it, but we didn't want to create a game that will be just a clone. And what we really missed was a real-time fight, because all these other games, we feel that they are little like male chess. You know, hey, I'm going to attack you. I'm sending 20 my troops and you have 5. Okay, in 5 minutes the result came. Oh, you killed 3 of my units, but I killed all of yours. Okay, I win. Yeah, this is not strategy, is it? It's male chess. So we took a little different approach, and we were also thinking about where to put our game. So since we are all Europeans and Czechs are a little Eurosceptic, we used Europe as our battleground. Actually, it's Europe after like a civil war in the near future. So what came out of it is a mix of massive cooperation game that all the players can battle against the bad villains, the GSA, which is like the bad force in the game, and also players can battle each other. You will see it in a very short moment. The game is free to play because it's in browser and it's the classic model. Please do not burn me, at least yet, because in our universe, free to play doesn't mean it's a pay to win, because we don't allow players to pay for things that help them actually in the battles. They can save their time, but they cannot win the battles. There is no win button. Yeah, I won. I paid 2 times more than you. So we actually started quite some time ago in 2010, and we already released one version of the game. It was quite a success, but only in Czech Republic, because we wanted to be sure that we didn't do anything wrong. We got some players, we also get some awards, and we learned a lot. And we screwed up some things, because it's saying that you cannot make your first game correct. So our game is like a simulation of a war, and the bad thing about war is that in war mostly everybody loses and people are unhappy. So in our game it was really hardcore, and you could be destroyed in a very short time. So we took our lessons, and 3 years ago we started working on the new version that we have right now, and that we will be releasing for the Western market next month. It's called Infinitum Battle for Europe. We have taken the games that we really love, like, I don't know, Dune Battle for Arrakis, Red Alert, Settlers, and these other games, and the browser-based games, and we put them all together. We kind of mixed them, those two different genres. And our way of mixing them was that we really wanted a game which would be real time, in which a lot of players could fight together on the same map. Because in the nowadays games, when they say they are massive multiplayer, it basically means that you cannot do much with the other guys. You are in some separated space, and you have, I don't know, 64, 128 players that you can interact with at one moment, and they tell you that you are in a huge universe and forever, but you are actually not. You are on one machine and you are in a limited space. In our game, it's different. We have a huge map that has over 16 million squares, on which we have 13,000 real cities. We have the whole Europe, and maybe you will find, mostly probably, you will find your own city, which really adds to immersion. Normally, if you play some different games, you play in some world which is not real, which is some fantasy kingdom or whatever. So you don't feel really happy about, protecting some castle or whatever. You just use it as a game. But if you are fighting for your own city, it's really different. It really adds to the immersion, and it helps the game a lot. And in this place, in this game, we have the real-time war. The real-time war is a crucial selling point of our game. So fights do happen directly on the map. On the map can be 2,260k units at the same time, which is quite a lot. If you play, I don't know, some older games, they could have like 100 units at the same time. We can have this huge amount, and they all move at the same time, and the game doesn't blow up, which is good. Also, there is AI, which fights against all of the players at once, and she has also a lot of units. We have also some more features, which I will skip because I was saying that I will talk about the game design. And so what we learned from the first version was really tough on players because you can attack anybody's city and destroy them completely, which happened quite often. So we found out that it's really good for players to be able to opt in into the fight, which means that, for example, you can go to the cinema or go to the vacation or just go to sleep, and nobody destroys your city while you're sleeping or watching a movie, which is nice. So you can have a life, which we believe is quite important for our players to have. So, but when everybody can opt in into the fight, there might be a moment where nobody would opt in and you would be the only one trying to fight. So we created our AI units that will fight against you, again on this huge map, which is correct, normal AI. It's not scripted. It can help each other, like the AI has different camps and concentration of units. They can help each other. They can go and follow you and do different things. Also, we have fractions of the units, so there can be like multiple AIs fighting against each other, which helps for the players because they can learn how to fight. Because our game is not pay to win. You have to learn how to fight, and through the fight, you can win the game. And it is not so easy to fight and be good if you have a lot of units. We have cities that you cannot conquer. In the first version, you were able to destroy cities of some guys, which led to a thing that the game was released in Czech Republic, only in Czech language, and in Czech Republic there is the Czech part and Moravia part, and mostly what happened that the Czechs made huge armies and the Moravians made huge armies, and they were stacking these armies on top of each other, and then at some point, like 3 months into the play of the world, the guys got pissed off, and they had this huge battle that took like 8 hours, and then one side was totally destroyed, and they didn't get them chance to repair, rebuild. They just wiped them off. They just took 3 days of work and destroyed all of their cities, and the guys had like 2,500 cities. So it was like going to work. It was like big effort for these guys. We have a really hardcore community. So making cities unconquerable means that people can be safe, and also some guys that will just destroy your city every time you log in don't have chance to intimidate you. And one of the most important things that we did is unit caps. It's a thing that helps us limit the amount of units the players can have, and so when they reach the cap, there is no more point in stacking the units, so they go out and fight because they know they can make another units. So this helps because in the previous version there were some guys that never left the city with their units for 6 months. And actually there is a funny story about this guy that had the strongest unit in the game, and he never left the city. And then like a huge army came to his city. They attacked his city, and the whole army of the attackers disappeared in 2 seconds because the guy was so much stronger than them. And then he just popped out his units out of the city. And this guy prepared for 6 months for this moment of victory, which is unbelievable. Yeah, so we don't have one battle per world now, and you will see how it works. But a huge map also brings some different challenges. Like if you go somewhere, for example, from Vienna to Prague, it will take you like 30 minutes with your unit. But if you go to Iceland, it can take you about 7 hours. So how do you get there? Because you wouldn't be able to fight these others. So we created another gameplay mechanics. We added airports. There is quite a lot of different mechanics and different metagames in the system. So I'll try to describe at least a few of them in the video. Making airports right away created new playstyle for the players, and it helped also add more fights because people can get units into fights more easily, but it's not so easy to get them out of the fight, so they basically destroy them. So, but I read comics a lot, and there is the golden rule of comics, and that's show, don't tell. So finally, we get to the video part, and this is me. I don't want to see me. Okay. Yeah, so let's play. So this is your city. You start in a destroyed city, which is after the war. You have just a limited space where you can build your buildings. Inside of the city, it's inspired by Settlers, SimCity, and these kind of games. And as you upgrade your city, will get much more green and happy. I will show you, I have different cities. This is like a little more advanced city. After about, I don't know, 1 month of play, I have, you can see there are different types of buildings. For example, this is a beryllium mine. We have some housings for the people, canteen. We have different things that the people need and materials that you produce in order to produce units, which is your basically final goal with the city. Here you see here you see my city, which is the most advanced. I have also the airport there and all the other important buildings. It's probably it would take so much too long to explain all of these mechanics. So I'll just skip a little. I'm showing all the menus here. And we have some cool things like very long queue for building of the buildings, for stacking them in the left bottom corner of the screen. So you can put buildings for like 5-6 hours, and you can really distribute building your construction effort in your city very well. So here we go. Here we get to the map. You can see the map is navigable by this little map. I will also show you our global map, which is much better. This all what you see, it's all from the real data. We really took geographical data and put them all in. This what you see now, it's one of the forts. The GSA, the bad guys, they basically rule the map. When you come to the game, they are everywhere, and they have camps and they have these forts. And your goal as a player, or basically as a group of players, because it's mostly a team game, this is actually the Messina Strait. It's actually the south of Italy. The group of players can defeat the main fort, and then they have to hold it. So in the first part of the game, it's basically like supermassive co-op game. And then when some alliance hits the GSA fort and they win, then it turns the system for something like King of the Hill. So everybody is trying to destroy him. This part which we are looking now is Sweden. It's the fjords. I like them because and they really are like this in Sweden. I don't know. It probably looks a little bit different, but all the basic geographical data is correct. And this is our global map, which is the real time. It shows all the units, all the cities in the whole game, because the game is quite huge. This, what you see now, is a server which is about 3 months in. So there is a lot of different alliances. This is my city. There are all the cities that have some names below it. It's some players' cities. This is a fort that you can see there. And as I zoom for different levels, I see different levels of detail. So the red guys, for example, that's the enemies of my alliance, because the game is all based about the group of players' alliances. So you basically cannot win the game alone. You have to join some alliance, and with this alliance you can battle different guys, and there's a lot of battles every day. And it mostly tends to that alliances keep their own fort, and they try to defend it somehow. And it's really a tactical game. Big part of this game is also the different social aspect, that people make contracts, they talk to each other, they negotiate, they threaten each other, and sometimes it's really funny, sometimes it's not so funny when they threaten physical violence, which actually happened, which is crazy what people do. But yeah, this is the part of the city, sorry. And now I will show you the fight. Yeah. So this is on the left side. These are my units, and on the right side it's units of my friend, which is actually now in war with me. So he's red. My units are blue. As you can see, there are different circles around the ellipses around my units, which shows the attack ranges where I can shoot. And we are just standing in this position at the start. And for example, if you see there, some units have minimum range. So if you get inside of the clear circle, you are unvulnerable. He cannot shoot at you. So we will start the fight. I'm just, yeah, you can select units like in all different strategies. And the important thing to understand is that this battle, as I'm having here now, can happen in 20,000 times on the whole server at once. So when my units fight here, there can be some other units that will come from north and that will attack me or my friend, and it all happens in real time. Our movement is done that units have some amount of time before they move to the other field, which might seem that it's little like turn-based, but it's actually not. Every unit has its own counter, so it starts and in 5 seconds it moves to the next field. And we do pathfinding over the whole huge map. So it's quite complicated, and since there can be almost 250,000 units at the same time, it's really complicated to count the real place where the unit should go and do it fast enough. So here I'm getting attacked by my friend because I already reached the target range of his units, and I will move forward with my different units. And there are also different types of attacks. Like you can just shoot unit from the position where you are, or you can set your unit to chase the other unit, and it uses some artificial intelligence also to get the best position and to attack the other friend, your other enemy in the right spot. Because we have like different 4 kinds of weapons that you can use, and it's a system of hand of the rock paper scissors. So different units are good against each other. Yeah, so now we are getting in some serious fight, and I will show you, maybe I will smooth it a little, because I don't know how am I with time. 5 minutes? Okay, so I'll skip this and I'll show you the last video, which is actually the attack on the super fort. In the first video that I showed you now, the first battle, I won. at the end. But this is something different. This is the super fort that we have in the game, and if you kill all the units in this super fort, you may win the game, but you then have to hold it for about a week, which nobody achieved yet in the beta. So my units are here, and I will try to attack. Also, here on the left side, you can see my friends, which is a cool feature. We have sharing of units, because this is really an issue in a lot of these strategies, that you cannot share your armies. That if you want to have a really big army, which you need to, if you want to beat others in the alliance, people do it that they send resources to one guy, and this one guy builds enormous army, and he uses this army to attack the enemies of the alliance. But sometimes it happens that these guys with these alliance armies little go forward on their ego, and sometimes they destroy the whole alliance army in one attack because they got pissed off and something like this. So in our game, you can share units. You can say, okay, all these units are shared, and the guys from the alliance that have the rank of general, they can use them and battle with others. So you can have units from about 30 people, which will be guided by 5 generals in one huge battle. And there can be really a lot of people who will be watching this. So I will let the video run, and if you have any questions, I'm ready. Server. Yeah, we wrote our own server. We have it's basically based on Microsoft technologies. We have MS SQL server, and on top of it runs almost everything else. We have Ruby, so we have Linux, Microsoft. We don't have Mac, but we have like 11 different technologies that run on the whole system. So it's like ecosystem, and the game actually is in Flash. So we started now. If we did it, we would probably do it in Unity. But when we started, the Unity wasn't an option, and it gives us still some edge because everybody has Flash still, and the game doesn't take much of your computer power. So you can play it in your office on an office computer, and a lot of people do that. It's quite addictive, and also I have keys here. So if you want to try, I have these small cards with keys with icons, so you can get them, and you don't have to ask me a question. It's okay. Like the other guy did. Yeah, is it enough? Okay.
Hi. First of all, it's nice to see that you're fighting for a Slovenian city, which probably proves the point that fighting for real world cities is better for the feeling. My question is, how big was your team, and how long did you develop the game?
We started 5 years ago, and we had this idea that we would just write a clone of Travian. And since then it changed a lot, and actually we were 3 people, and we didn't know that these games are mostly written in team of like 50 people. So nobody told us that it's impossible to do it. So we did it. So it's possible to do it, but it took a big portion of our time and free time and hair and all the other parts of the body. So yeah, now we are about 12 people, and we are releasing it. So because it was growing and growing and growing, but we still do some other work for clients and so on. So we have to. It's not yet making enough money because it's in beta. Yeah, we have investor. And actually, the game in Czech Republic now makes enough money for the one third of our team. It pays really well, and we have about 2,000 players now, which is just a fraction in terms of these games when they have like hundreds of thousands users. And now we are in the moment when we are finally ready to release the game for the public, so most of people will understand it, because it's a complicated game. It's not really possible to show it in 20 minutes, and you learn this game. It takes you like 2 weeks before you get proficient and you know how to play it. It's also some different meta games and how people play it, and it's really addictive, and these people pay, and we don't raise the payments. Like I believe that most of the free-to-play games raise the amount of money that they want to get from you. I know that some developers say that this is a good idea, that you push the player because then you will lose him. But in our world is a little bit different, because the people tend to stay for a longer time and then they pay continuously. And we have guys that are with us for 3 years now and they are paying every month. So if we have just, I don't know, 10 times more of these guys, we are fine. Yeah, the first version, it was funny because we had one world was running on 3 different servers. Now we can have 3 worlds on one server. We did also quite a bit of rewrite, and we found out, because it's really complicated to do such a thing, and the server infrastructure is now, I think, one of the top in the world. I don't know if any others on other like bigger game studios of which have similar games have such cool things underneath the system. But it also it is the reason why it took us so long, because we wrote the whole infrastructure and we needed to write a lot of code and a lot of different systems for us to be able to correctly and efficiently run the whole system, and to be able to have about 10,000 players at the same time on the same map, which is kind of crazy. No, because these clouds, they charge you by the computing power, and what we want is to use the maximum amount. So it would be a bad idea for us, because in the game there are 3 different loops, which are different programs that run and calculate the game. So they count. There is the AI loop, which calculates what the AI does. Then there is the city loop, which calculates all the productions and of units and different materials. And then there is the map loop, which calculates all the pathfinding and shooting and everything. So we are trying to run all of these 3 loops at the maximum speed per minute. So because, for example, for the battle loop, we need to run it at least 10 times per minute. So if we had it on Azure, we would pay a lot. We have AMF, which is like open source Adobe. It's action message format. It's from Adobe. It's for Flash, but actually all the other parts are written by ourselves. So we wrote the whole protocol, and actually not the protocol itself, that will come in a very short time, because we are also unhappy because it's little lot verbose, but everything else is our own, because we found out that, for example, on EES, which we use as the web server, it's not fast enough. So we had. Yeah, they claim a lot of things. For example, they claimed that there is not a bug that can hang the whole MS SQL server, and that it has been repaired 3 years ago. But it was actually happening to us, and we were they gave us some price for finding this bug again, because they thought that it's like, and they insisted that for about 10 emails that it's not possible when we send them the dump of the memory with the with the pointers where we show them, okay, this is the state where it gets. They said, okay, we give you the licenses for free. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you very much.